6:43, the Trump administration has started the mass firing of federal employees following their buyout offer, capping out at around 75,000 workers accepting. That's about 3.5% of the workforce. So we want to go live to our Scripps News correspondent Serena Marshall in D.C. And Serena, how many employees are in this first round?
Well, Bree, this is going to impact about every employee across every federal agency who's in what they call their probationary period. That's the term given to just about any new hire, the first 1 to 2 years, depending on the industry, the agency, and the position. This notice went out across the federal government and across those agencies, including the Department of Veterans Affairs. They announced that they had given about 1,000 individuals the pink slip. That is a small percentage of their overall total workforce, but other agencies like the U.S. Forestry Department under USDA, for example, there are reports that they've laid off more than 3,500 employees. That's about 10% of their workforce. According to OPM, last year's data, the last available, at any given time, there are about 200,000 employees in this probationary period. That accounts to about 10% of the overall federal workforce. So it's possible with just this round of layoffs, they could achieve the president's goal of a 5 to 10% overall reduction. However, there are warnings coming from industry groups that this is likely impacting, since it's impacting all new hires, it's likely impacting the younger workforce, which could have long-term implications for the overall federal government workforce. Already the union representing the agency employees is threatening they will fight this every step of the way. Bree?
Well, Serena, President Trump has promised reciprocal trade tariffs. What has to happen before these get underway?
Yeah, those promised tariffs, he sent a memo to put those into effect, or at least start the process, Bree. But before they go into effect, he wants a report done from the appropriate agencies on what those tariffs would be, what the impact would be coming from, namely the Department of Commerce and the Office of Management and Budget. He wants that report by April 1st, which means the soonest these could go into effect would be April 2nd. But it's also possible that most of these wouldn't go into effect. I mean, they have to do these analysis on the some 200 countries that the United States trades with, and then there's also the global implications of World Trade Organization countries, because what they tax one country, they have to tax all of them, and so that would also impact individuals on a global scale. But the American Federation of Retail, the National Retail Federation, has already warned that while they appreciate the president trying to bring down barriers to trade in the United States, this is going to impact higher prices for hardworking Americans, they wrote in their statement. It'll erode household spending power. And Bree, we can look at some of those past tariffs the president did on how this will impact it. Remember, he already did steel and aluminum at 25%. That flashbacks to his 2018 tariffs on those. Whirlpool, an appliance maker, had estimated in 2018 that increased their costs $350 million. It was a cost passed on to the consumer. China, there's already a 10% tariff the president just put in effect on those imports. Consumers are seeing increase in prices on things like Shein. Apple products, unlike 2018, is not exempt from this time's tariffs on China, which means if you're planning to buy one of those new Apple iPhones, you'll likely end up paying about $80 more on that $800 phone. So wide-ranging implications. Again, our two largest trading partners, Canada and Mexico, they have that 30-day pause still in effect outside of those reciprocal tariffs.